Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Bank of the West is offering the 1% for the Planet checking account. It gives back to the planet at no cost to you, and there's no monthly service charge with any deposit per statement. Only from Bank of the West. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
The Bachelorette and Friends. From first love to happy ever after.
What's that?
From dating to dick pics.
Oh my. Oh no!
The Bachelorette and Friends. Oh, I love a good dick.
This podcast contains sexual references, coarse language, and adult themes from the beginning and throughout. It is not recommended for listeners under the age of 15.
If you subscribe on patreon.com/thecatchalorettepod, you get early access to episodes, not to mention keeping the pod alive for as little as $1 a month. Subscribe now. Patreon.com/thecatchalorettepod. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Bachelorette and Friends. I'm your host, Carla Anita Mattiazzo. And today's guest is a comedian, he's a producer, and he has his own podcast, Confessions of the Idiots. Welcome to the podcast, Sam Petersen.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And all correct, by the way. What an intro. You absolutely nailed it. Isn't it great when you do an intro and someone says correct? I've done intros before where people have said, I've never done that. I was like, oh, sorry. It's really hard when you have to list people's credits and then they go, no, I never did that.
I never did that. Don't know where
I never did that. I'm not from New York City, but thank you.
I wish I was.
I wish I was. Well, not right now, but I wish I was. It'd make me sound less like a bogan. That's been my dream, to sound less. I've tried to change my voice a few times, but it's never really worked out in the way that I thought it would.
Unfortunately, I think the more I'm doing the podcast, the more bogany I'm sounding. So I don't know what's happened.
Yeah, so it happens. It happens. Someone said I sound like Dave Hughes on crack. I don't even know what that means. But I was like, oh, okay, sorry about that. Because anytime I meet someone, like especially from the UK, they're like, I've never, ever met someone that sounds like you.
What?
And they say it like that. They've never met, maybe all the nice Melbourne and Sydney and the capital city people go overseas. It's never the Phillip Island people that make it over there, that are just rough. Rough as guts and ready for anything. Give them a Jim Beam and Coke and we're fine.
We're fine.
We're fine. We're fine. I sounded even more bogan than usual. We're fine.
Is that how you pick up people? Is that your pick-up line, Sam?
Yeah, I'm fine. Hi, I'm fine. They just don't understand what I'm talking about. It's all about that. If you can't understand what I'm talking about, you sound really intelligent. Obviously, it works really
Obviously.
well.
Clearly.
Obviously. Yeah.
You got me laughing, so you're doing something right, man. Okay. So for the listeners, to bring them up to speed, this podcast is based on my award-winning cabaret show, The Bachelorette. There's always a catch, where I sing and talk about first crushes to happy ever after and everything in between. So let's start at crushes, Sambo. What's your first crush story, mate, and what happened?
Whoopi Goldberg was my first. We talking celebrity crush?
Whatever the fuck.
I don't know why I answered that so quickly. Hand on buzzers. That was weird. That was weirdly quick. Sorry about that. Oh, God. I didn't even know this was going to be a question. I knew straight off the top of my head. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg was my first ever celebrity crush. Was in love with her. And then as I grew older, my first crush was a girl called Amy McCake. Probably shouldn't use her full name, but that was her name. And I just had the biggest crush on her. But I think it would have been about 15 years old, I think, when I had my first crush. I don't know if that's late or early. I moved on from Whoopi from that stage. We went through a lengthy breakup. Long distance. Long distance was hard to have a crush on
Yeah, I'd
someone.
imagine it would be.
On Whoopi Goldberg, and she was at the height of fame. It wasn't easy for me, Carla. But then first crush was Amy McCaig from Phillip Island, who I just thought was it and a bit. She was school captain. She was just so beautiful and very smart. I was in, this is how cool I was, Carla. I was in debating with her.
Sick.
And I locked eyes with her. Yeah, fucking sick. And we locked eyes over a debate. And it was a debate where our school was so... the teacher that took us there didn't know anything about debating. And she told us, the adjudicator said that we were arguing for. We weren't. We were negative. But we both argued. So the teacher went and just looked at all of us kids and they thought, these kids aren't right. Let's just let them do it anyway. And so we both argued for. So it was two groups of kids from two different schools arguing for. It was probably like, does God have a sense of humour? And we both said yes, affirmative.
Yeah,
and
right.
There was no argument. So it made the rebuttals real hard, Carla. Because you're going, I agree with you, but can I also agree with you? It was probably the nicest debate that's ever happened. It was just two sides agreeing with each other and trying to be the funny one. No one was the funny one. No one won that day. And God did not have a sense of humour that day, Carla.
Oh, not even your crush?
She was very articulate. She was good. She was a good speaker. She was a good public speaker, but you know, not really that funny in her speech. She took everything very seriously, but I just thought that was so fucking hot.
So the seriousness is what got you.
Yeah, it got me in the end, Carla. It always does. But yeah, I had a big crush on her, and she was school captain. Yeah. She had and then I got to hang out with her a bit. That was very cool. Oh. Yeah. Oh, it was so exciting back then. First crush. I still get excited about it talking.
Oh, that's
not in like a sexual way. Yeah, I'm not rock hard right now, but you know, I still get excited talking about it. You know, because there's nothing like a first crush.
Yeah. That's true.
Is there when you're that infatuated with someone and everything they do is exciting? Like she'd open a bag of Jersey caramels and I'd be like, oh, what's going on over there? Like there was nothing. She was never at higigh school. You don't do anything interesting, Carla, but it's so exciting. Like everything's exciting. Oh, like she'd be having chewing gum. She played down bowl. Do you remember down bowl? Do you play down bowl?
What the hell's that?
I'll just keep saying down bowl. It's just a down bowl. Can't get down bowl. Is this the first time a guest has ever said down bowl that much on a podcast? Down bowl was just this thing where you'd hit a ball against a wall. It was a real sad tennis. That's what it was. Like if no one would play with you.
Isn't that handball?
We call it handball. We called it down ball on Phillip Island. That's one of the many reasons I will forever be a bogan that no one can understand. Down ball. We called it down ball. I don't know why. Handball makes way more sense. You playing down ball today? Yeah, I'll play down ball. It'd be fun. It'd be fun game. Let's play down ball. Can we play down ball? It's so ridiculous. That's how now 11 times I've said it. Did I what?
Did you invite your crush to play down ball?
Well, I was more of a fan of Foursquare. Did you ever play Foursquare?
Yeah.
You'll have a different name for it. Yeah. Foot Square. Yeah, so I was more of a fan of Foursquare because I like the team games. And She was more like she could just hit a ball up against the wall, catch it, up against the wall again. It was riveting. And even when I think about it now, it's still the most exciting thing that's ever happened in my life. But watching her do that was incredible. And I just thought she was like a Giselle, the way she moved.
Oh, right. Was she Giselle in her speed or her height or her...
She had a beak. No, she had a beak and wings. It was a bird. Okay, sorry, it was a bird. No, yeah, she was. She was just very graceful. Very graceful, tall, graceful. I was just always like, yeah, I just remember watching her play down ball. And then I asked her to marry me.
No, you didn't.
Didn't work out. I did. Really? I didn't know how to ask someone out.
So
I thought my parents are married. I'll just ask her. Yeah, it's less serious. Whoopi never responded, so I thought to my letters of request to go on a date. So I just thought I'll just go straight to the top and ask her to marry me.
What did she say?
She said sure because it was like a funny joke.
It wasn't a joke to you though.
Not to me. We had a little ceremony.
Oh yeah,
Quite
talk
nice.
us through
After
that.
down ball, we just had after down ball one day. We just had we had a little ceremony where people all got together. A few of her friends, a few of mine. That's how weddings go, I imagine. And we just all and I don't need to explain what a wedding is to you, Carla. But then we all just lined up. Not Amy and I. We were separate, and then she walked down in between the friends because I'd seen that in a film. And that was the end of it. We shared a moment. She thought it was really funny, and that was the end of it. Just a funny thing that we did, but I got to hold her hands. That was pretty cool.
Aw.
Yeah, and then we didn't go to a debate after that. That would have been a great thing. Going, now let's debate for ages. Let's have our first fight.
And let's script it. Make sure you
Let's
have your
script it.
rebuttal ready.
Yeah, but that was my first crush. Sorry for talking about downball for so long, but yeah, but that was my first crush, Amy McCaig, first ever crush.
She was like a
was
Giselle.
exciting.
She had a beak and wings, and you played down bowl, and you debated together.
It's a normal story.
Sure it is, Sam.
It's just a normal story. This is going to be me when I'm like, I reckon probably pushing 60. I'll always be telling people these stories. Yeah, no, it's normal. As I'm shouting at plastic bags on the street. That's my
Have you
future.
named the plastic bags yet, Sam, in your mind?
In my mind, it would be something like Arthur.
Right.
Yeah, quite. I think it's quite a nice name, and I think for a plastic bag, I think it's quite a nice name because I'd always be like, Arthur should be here in a minute to people, and they're like, oh, he does know someone, and then a plastic bag rocks up, and they're like, oh, he's sad. So yeah, no, Amy was my first crush, and all the things you described, it was a beautiful moment of my life.
So what ended that scenario? The wedding? Was the wedding the final thing?
No, she was my first girlfriend,
Oh, okay.
so it progressed.
Right. Tell me about that. Tell me about how you
So-
went from crush to wedding to handball debating to girlfriend.
It's a story as old as time itself, Carla. We ended up. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but the wedding obviously kicked off. I was friends with her sister as well, so her sister was there, and then Amy just used to come over all the time. She used to just like come over to my house, and we were just friends. I just thought she was friends because she was like 3 years older than me, like older, and she was school captain, and I was like, and then she just kept coming over, and then she said later on that for about maybe 3 times when she came over, she kept her mouth like a centimetre away from mine just to but I was so bad at picking up signals that apparently I didn't know that she wanted me to kiss her.
How the
I just thought maybe that's how people from Inverloch talked. Well, because her beak, Carl, I didn't want to go near her beak. No, I hope she doesn't listen to this. Jesus Christ. But she's a beautiful woman. But I don't know. It wasn't a centimetre. It wasn't that close, but it was pretty close. Like, if I look back on it now, I would be like, oh, she totally wanted to smooch. But back then I was like, oh, I don't know. This is awkward. I talked to my friend Adrian about it all the time. Just, AIDS, what do you reckon? She was like a centimetre away from my face. And he goes, don't do anything, man, because she may not want to kiss you. She's like 3 years older than you. It was treacherous. No one knew what to do. All my
Sounds
friends.
like Adrian was jealous and he was trying to manipulate the situation.
Probably. Let's call him now. Can we get him on the line? It's about time I confront him about this.
Yeah.
All I have to say is, fuck you. And then Adrian just goes, I knew this day would come. What took you so long? But that was a long time ago now. I'm 29 now. So that was a long time ago now. And Amy and I went out for, I reckon, 2 years, 2 or 3 years. It lasted until she went to uni and I was still on Phillip Island.
Oh, wow.
I think we started dating when I was 16 and she was 18, going on 19, I think. And then she stayed back a year on Phillip Island. So she did year 12 over 2 years.
To spend time with you, okay, Sam?
Yeah. So we ended up spending more and more time together. Went to her year 12 formal twice. pretty cool. And first one was better, if I'm to be honest. Completely honest. First one had party pies, way better. Second one, you had, yeah, of course, yes, Phillip Island party. And then the second one was you had to walk in your dress through up a sand dune to get to the surf club. I wasn't in a dress. But Amy walked up and it was a bad time. Everyone was upset when they got there. Sand was everywhere. That was the second one. That's why it wasn't as good. And lack of party pies. Lack of PPs as well. Lack of PPs. That's what I call them. But I've never called them that. But we dated for a while. But the kissing thing, it was just so confusing to me. And I was the most mature. That's how crazy it was. I was the most mature of my friends and they didn't know what was going on. So I was asking them for advice and they hadn't. I don't think they'd kissed someone before. So that says a lot about the friends I was hanging out with. Because I thought that's what you talk to friends about. I didn't want to ask my mum about it. I thought Jezebel would be like, don't ask me about this. This is very inappropriate. Or Harley would be like, please don't ask me about this. I don't want to talk about this.
What about
So
Arthur?
I just thought, Arthur wasn't around back then. He is reusable. We were plastic through and through back then. That's what I didn't tell you. I'm environmentally friendly. Of course, you didn't even think that, did you? That Arthur was probably because I said plastic bag. That's what confused you.
Yeah, that's what threw me.
That's what threw me. I said it was plastic. Yeah, and then I diverted and went, it's not. So fuck you. I'm environmentally friendly. But yeah, it was a nice moment. But then we kissed, and that was really nice. She just told me. I think she just told me. She was like, "You have to kiss me because I'm sick of this." And then I did it. And then, but it was a night when my friend Rhett Mackenzie Edwards was also around. So that's how far I don't know why I'm using people's full names, but yeah, Rhett Mackenzie Edwards was around. I'll just keep saying it. Rhett Mackenzie Edwards was around as well. He was a down ball champ, actually, if you must know. Like he was a very good down ball. And yeah, Rhett Mackenzie Edwards was around and he was just hanging out with us, wouldn't leave us alone. And so that's how far I didn't think that she was interested in me because I also had Rhett Mackenzie Edwards around. And you do not invite Rhett Mackenzie Edwards when you want to get on with someone. You'd never invite him around.
No, never.
I've never had him around for any of my other relationships, no. I cut that off. I had to let him go. He was dead weight, to be honest. We should call him as well. We'll call Adrian and we'll call him.
Good plan. By the end of this, we'll have a list of people that we need to call and work through some therapy with, I reckon.
Yeah, it's about time. But that was a nice thing. So dating. I reckon dating for 2 years after that, which was really nice. But that ended because she moved to Melbourne and it just couldn't make it work.
But you're in
Long
Melbourne
distance.
now. Have you tried to track her down?
No, I haven't. I haven't tried to track Amy down. I should, but Whoopi's still there, you see.
Gotcha.
And now I've got the means to travel. Not right now, but in the future, once this whole COVID thing goes down, I'll get onto Whoopi again.
Yeah, sweet. I'm sure she'll be delighted to hear from you, Sam.
Absolutely.
So, am I getting this right? That it was a year you and Amy were together before you kissed her?
Not together, but we were friends.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were friends and we had the wedding and stuff because that's what you do when you're friends, obviously. Yeah. I'm not here to educate you, Carla, on what that is.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of The Catchalorette and Friends. Make sure you follow the podcast at The Catchalorette Pod on Instagram. And if you think your love journey is worth sharing with me on the podcast, send me an email, thecatchalorettepod@gmail.com, or slide into my Instagram DMs. Oh, and don't forget to give the podcast a review and tell all your motherfucking people to listen to the show. Now let's get back to this episode.
After that relationship where you not only learnt about the values of debating and being a child groom, How did you deal with the heartbreak when she moved to Melbourne? What was the situation there, Sam?
I think it was Cat Stevens that said the first cut is the deepest. And it was, I always quote Cat Stevens. If you want any other Cat Stevens quotes, I got heaps of them. Right on the Peace Train is another good one. But, you know, I was very hurt. I was very hurt, very sad, very mopey. And I thought at that point, I will never love again.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought that at the time. I was like, I will never love anyone again. But I was very wrong. And it didn't take too long because I moved to Melbourne. Melbourne was so exciting. You know, when you move to Melbourne for the first time, big city, everything was different, so many people around. I started doing stand-up and it was like there were so many new people around, you know. But yeah, it was just a different – I don't know. I was very hurt by my first breakup. It was very sad. And I don't know why. If I could go back and tell myself something, it would be, you know, either, you know, listen to less Cat Stevens, or it would be like that will never help you in life, or maybe just, don't be so sad about it because there's so many more people. But, you know, every friend I had, like, you know, everyone had that first cut that really hurt.
So
and it
how
was
did
like,
you
you
get
know,
over it? What did you do to help you get out of the sadness, Sam?
I can't really remember. I think it was by busying myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it was by being extremely busy, doing new things, trying new things, meeting new people.
Yes.
It was just getting amongst it and getting out of Phillip Island because it's such a small place. And then when you get out, you're like, oh my God, there's so much more here. Like there's so much going on. There's so many new people. People have the same interests as you. It wasn't all about downball. You know, it wasn't all about... it was just there was so much more on offer. There was so much more interesting stuff that could distract me, I think. And that's probably the way that I got over it. But I was so sad at the time. But yeah, and you know, and it was nice, like, you know, having closure and chatting to her. I think we chatted a little bit after that, and we met up once and chatted about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, she was at a different point of her life and I was, you know, she went to uni and did all of that and I didn't go to uni. You know, like I got into psychology, didn't go. We went for 2 weeks. So I'm pretty much a psychologist, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I think I was really sad, but I think it was just the busy schedule, like trying to keep busy, getting a job in Melbourne, meeting new people through that. And it was all about people. But I think that's with anything. I think it's like you know, find your family in your friends and your friendship circle become your family. And then everything seems less important.
Right.
After a while, everything seems less important because these people are forever.
Heals. Is that what you're saying, Sam? Time heals?
I never said that. I said ride on the Peace Train. Yeah, time heals all wounds. That's what they say. That is also what they say.
That's what they say. Yeah, sure.
That's what Cat Stevens says. Yeah. I think.
What happened next? How long were you single for and spreading the seed around Melbourne?
I don't know. Maybe it was another 2 years. Maybe it was 2 years of being single. And then I met then I met someone else. Yeah. And it was like, yeah, good. But it was a good 2 years of being single, trying to enjoy being single.
Mm-hmm.
But I was only 18 or 19. It was very young.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
so you were running amok.
Running amok. Can't stop, won't stop. That's what I used to say. Can't stop, won't stop. You just try and stop me. You never will.
So how'd you meet the next woman?
Tinder. We met on Tinder.com.
Sexy.
Yeah, very sexy. So yeah, we met at a bar, at a real dingy bar that I still go to.
Great.
And it was very close to me, very close to her. And yeah, it was perfect. She was from the UK. We met. Yeah, she was only here for a year. We, and then we started dating straight after that, which was really nice.
So how did you jump into dating her knowing that there was an expiration date already as soon as you started the relationship?
Well, let me tell you this. Love hard, love fast. I think that's from the film Fast and the Furious. One of my favourite films. I think I thought that I would maybe move over to the UK. I think that was my plan in my head. I think I thought that I'd see how it was going to go, and there was no pressure until the end. You know, it was kind of like, well, let's just see how it goes, ride it out, see what happens, and hopefully everything would kind of work out. You know, It didn't in the end. You know, but you kind of just go with it. And then we went traveling together, and in that time, so there was just all that time when you could be like, yeah, we'll just see what happens, and if it works out, that's fantastic. But if it doesn't work out, that's okay too. You know, like she was younger than me, and you know, like I think I was 21 when it stopped. So you know, there was, the age is a bit of a blur, but I think I would have been about that.
Yeah, right.
Then I had a girlfriend after that. Yeah, so you know, it's a lot of time though. Like, you know, when you're with someone for that time, a year felt like a long time because we packed so much into it.
Yeah, fair enough. So what lessons did you learn from that relationship?
Love hard, love fast was number one, always. What did I learn from it? I learned that you can't take it so seriously. You know, and also that there are other people. That's what I think people who are really young get confused by, that they think there is only one person for them. You know, because I think that's what we're taught. You know, there is only one person out there, and you'll meet your soulmate. Yeah, it's fucking Disney. Every time, that Sleeping Beauty. Wake the fuck up, Sleeping Beauty. For God's sake, wake up to yourself. That's what I always say. I can't watch that in public. But, you know, there's so many things about it where you go, well, yeah, sure, there is only one person for you. And I think that's what we're always taught. And then you go, oh, there's so many great people. You know, like, you know, when you meet someone who's in a relationship, but you're like, oh my God, like I can imagine being with you. You just get along with them so well. And you go, so there are so many soulmates. They just met someone else. You know, they just met someone else who they really get along with and really like. But that could have easily been you. Correct. You know, and it's all about timing. That's all it comes down to.
Yes.
So, and it doesn't mean that they don't, you know, it doesn't mean that you're never going to be with that person that you really like, or it doesn't mean that, you know, you'll never have that experience with them. But right now it's not going to happen. And, you know, you can't get hung up on that.
Correct.
You can't get hung up on that forever and just hate every moment, because it's like, well, you could be real mopey for ages. And it's like, man, you have got a down ball championship coming up this week. You need to train.
You need to focus, motherfucker.
You need to focus, because Arthur is not pulling his weight. And Coach reckons he's out.
Yeah, well, that's what I heard. I heard.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking, and I don't want to say it too publicly on a podcast, but yeah, he's out.
Do you think people have forgotten who Arthur is by now? I hope not.
People shouldn't. Hold him in your heart forever. Love hard, love fast, but don't forget. I just tacked that on. That's another one of my sayings.
Okay. So far, we've got child groom, falling in love with the UK citizen. Then
what about my beak woman? You forgot about her?
What was that?
We forgot about the beak woman.
Oh. Yeah.
Nah, you didn't. Yeah. Beak woman was in there.
Woman was the child marriage.
That's true, actually. I'll stand corrected. You don't have to be so aggressive about it, but yeah. Next, I met someone on Bumble.com.
Oh.
Yeah. So they were, both through the apps, which was weird. So
what's your preferable app, Sam?
I'm not on apps now, so I don't know. I don't know what would be my preferable app. I mean, Bumble was good because, you know, the conversation would be started if they actually wanted to chat to you. You know, like that was always there and it seemed less creepy. Whereas Tinder, I imagine everyone chats to everybody all the time. But Bumble was pretty good. I would say Bumble. I'm going to lock in Bumble.
Bumble for the win?
Lock it in.
Bumble.
Yeah.
Bumble. Excellent.
You could probably get some sponsorship if you wanted to.
Bumble.
From Bumble. Just keep saying it and they will sponsor.
Okay, so what happened from bumble.com?
What happened? We just dated. We had a great time dating. She was a physiotherapist.
Oh.
We dated, but just very different people. But we had a great time together. You know, we had a really good time together, but very different people, you know. And everything was good though. Like everything was nice. We got along very well, but yeah, just very different lifestyles, I think.
So when did you work out that the two lifestyles would not become one?
When two became one, it's on a kitten. I think 2 or 3 years in.
Right.
Probably 3 years in. Yeah. Kind of realised, we're just different people. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. But yeah, it just took some time to realise that. But I think that happens in relationships when you just kind of get a bit comfortable.
Yeah.
And then you realise that there's so much other stuff out there. There's so much more left to do. And you're just going in 2 different directions and always wanting to do different things and always wanting to see different things.
Sure. Yeah. Look, I'm all for people in relationships, and I haven't been in one for a long time. So I'm, speaking theoretically here. I think it's really good in relationships for each partner to have their individual interests, but there has to be some common ground somewhere to do some stuff together other than sit on the fucking couch, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there always needs to be common ground because otherwise you're never going to do anything that you both enjoy.
Correct.
And that's not fun. Well, sitting on the couch is good, can be good.
Yeah.
But, you just can't do that forever.
It can't be the only thing that you have in common.
No. Yeah. Even deciding on a show to watch, when that's a lot, you go, well, this is probably not meant to be. If that takes an hour to decide, then that's probably not meant to be.
Yeah. No go for shiz. What was the lesson that you learned from that relationship on Bumble.com?
Bumble.com was if you're not happy and you're not in it completely, then it's probably not for you.
Yes.
That was a big lesson. I think, different people, and it's not like you come away from it going, that person's bad or anything. It's just that you come away from it going, well, they're not for me right now.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's a good lesson as well. That's a good thing to come away from.
I think that's a great lesson. That's a great lesson. What are your deal breakers, Sam? What are your deal breakers, Sam?
Beaks. What are my deal breakers? I think boring. I think if I don't find someone funny, then it's never going to be a thing. Mm-hmm. If I don't find someone funny, if I don't find that they can hold their own conversation, if I feel like I have,
or other people,
they can talk to themselves as much as they like. Yeah, no, if me and Arthur chat most nights for hours, you have to deal with that. No, but if I feel like I can't leave them at a party or something, by themselves.
Yeah.
And always feel like I have to go and be like, and they do this and they do this and they're, then that's a massive deal breaker.
That's just exhausting. So, that's draining.
It's exhausting. I don't feel like I want to be the entertaining one, so, they need to be, it's always just about being funny, smart and interesting and have their own things going on. If the partner's the most exciting thing in their life, then it's probably not going to work out.
Correct.
I don't want to be the most exciting thing in someone else's life. So
I understand that. I totally get that.
And also someone who doesn't have friends. That's a red flag. When someone doesn't have friends and you've introduced them to like 50 people and then they're like, I've got a friend coming down next week. And you're like, coming down? You grew up here. Like, what are you talking about? I've got a friend coming down from where? From space? What are you talking about? Like when when they haven't got any friends, you're kind of like, okay, unless there's like a really good reason for that, or unless there is an explanation. But yeah, if they don't have friends, I don't understand, and I think that's probably a deal breaker too. Someone who doesn't want to spend time with their friends.
Yeah, and quality over quantity is important. It doesn't matter how many necessarily friends people have. It's the quality of the friendship, I would say.
Absolutely.
So, Sam, do you have a type? And if so, aesthetically or emotionally, personality, all that jazz?
I do not have a type, and my friends have told me I definitely don't have a type because everyone I've ever dated has been completely different. It's always personality. It's always someone I find interesting or funny. Yeah. So it's because if I find I can't have a conversation with someone, then it's just not gonna go anywhere.
It's gonna get boring real fucking fast.
Real fucking fast, yeah.
Real fucking fast. So where do you see yourself relationship-wise or love-wise in 5 years' time? If you could wave a wand and get everything you ever wanted, Sam, when it comes to relationships and love, what would that look like?
I would be divorced with 2 kids. I would destroy those kids' lives. Like, they wouldn't be able to see mum. There'll be so many barriers. We'd be moving to the coast. Mum would be in another state. A pandemic would happen. They can't go. That would be my dream. No, probably. I would be happy in a relationship. I'm happy either way, and I think that's the. I'm very much. I like being by myself a lot. I'm a big by myself person. I like my own space. I like talking when I want to talk to people and be real into it, and then I like to not do that as well. So I think in 5 years I'd like to be in a really steady relationship. I'd like to be in that and committed to that. But if I wasn't, there would be no problem with that either. If the divorce didn't go through for some reason, she's extorting me, cross that road when we come to it. Yeah, when I'm extorted. Is that the word? When I'm extorted. When I'm being blackmailed, basically.
Yes, yeah.
And
they're
I will
holding
ruin her
Arthur
life.
for ransom.
Yeah, I will ruin her life and everyone she knows. So make no mistake, I will ruin everything she has ever loved. And I want people to know that. Whoopi, if you're listening.
Everything.
Yeah. Whoopi, just listen right now. I will destroy everything you've ever fucking loved. Did Evie do this? Did Evie talk about this on your podcast? Did she want to destroy anyone?
No.
I can't imagine Evie or Annie Potatoes did this.
Annie and I talked about some murdering stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, cool. Oh, because I was going to say huge fan of murder, but she's a huge fan of the podcast. Shit, what's it called? My Favorite Murder. She's a huge fan of that. And she's always putting me on to the best murder documentaries.
Right. Well, and her and I are both Italian, so we're all about the killing and the mafia. So we connected.
You Italians love it. And that's not racist. You all love murder.
We all love murder. Yeah.
You heard it here first. You just confirmed it, so I'm not the racist. I'm not the problematic one here.
Correct. That's all me. That's on me. That's on me. That's on me.
That's on you.
Sam, before I love and leave you, do you have any tidbits for single people, for people in relationships, how to keep the love candle burning fucking bright to blind you?
Oh, yeah. Love hard, love fast is always number one. But I would say don't be desperate.
What does desperate look like? What does that look like?
Desperate. I think desperate means just trying to find someone to be with someone. Trying to find someone for being with someone's sake. I think the best thing is to always be happy. first and at 100% with yourself, because I've just seen so many people want to be with someone and it doesn't matter who, but it always ruins it really early on.
Yes.
You know, like it ends up being someone who just comes across way too strong or says on the first date, I'm going to have kids. Like not at the table, but, someone who's just like, just saying, I want this. This is my 5-year plan. This is my 6-year plan. Whatever it is, just someone going and bulldozing that person.
Yeah.
It just never seems to end that well. Maybe it does in some cases, but certainly in my case and my friend's case, I've always seen it as just go in and be as happy as you can with yourself first before you bring someone else into it, and don't involve other people in your drama. No one wants to know about your drama. No one wants to know about your bullshit. Just try and be happy first, and then people will come. And it always happens for my friends and I anyway, when you're at your happiest and when you're really enjoying things, people find that attractive.
Correct.
People find confidence attractive. People find someone who enjoys hanging out with their friends and being somewhere, just enjoying the moment. People always seem to find that attractive. So all of my friends have met people through that, through not just going out to meet someone, Mr. Right Now, as they call it. I don't know who calls it that. Let's say they say heaps of stuff.
They do.
And I'm sick of their shit. They are flapping their lips nonstop. And I, for one, have had enough of it.
They need to eat a salty dick. They do.
They do. Get over it. We are sick of your shit, they. But I would say, number one, just be happy with yourself before you go out there and put so much pressure on one thing, because people just want to be with someone that's happy and makes them happier.
Yes.
People just want to be happier with someone rather than a weight taken off. Like, how is it when you have a friend and they're with someone that just exhausts them, and they get a call from them when they're with you and they go, oh God, I have to get this. And you never want to be with someone like that. You want to get a call and go, oh yeah. You want to get so pumped up about every time you get a call from someone. You don't want it to be the hardest part of your day is talking to them.
Because then it changes who you are. If you're in a relationship with somebody and they're constantly draining you, constantly looking for you to make them happy instead of them actually looking for that within themselves, fuck, man, that is tiring as shit.
Yeah. And toxic. People stay in toxic relationships way too long and they just let it happen, and then their friends are going, oh no, are they really coming tonight? And you should know as someone when you're like, oh, that's a bad relationship to be, and that's not a fun thing.
Correct. So true, Sam.
So
true.
Yeah, be happy first, and see what happens.
See what happens. I love it. Attracting the right people comes from being happy in your own life first. I totally agree with that. Totally agree. Thank you, Sam, for coming on to the podcast today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
No worries.
What a goddamn pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
The Catch-A-Lorette, with friends near and far, from heartache to catfish and sex toys. The Catch-A-Lorette and friends. See you next time, if you dare.
Bank of the West is offering the 1% for the planet checking account. It gives back to the planet at no cost to you, and there's no monthly service charge with any deposit per statement. Only from Bank of the West. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.